Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. Lieutenant Dylan and NW.
Welcome to the Run TMC podcast. That is the Run TMC podcast, a podcast about basketball, and in particular, and most specifically, basketball in the Marin County. The Run TMC podcast is supported by The Hub, Batiste Rum, the West End Nursery, North Bay Basketball Academy, and the Nike San Domenico camps, and Jeff Skaggs. Thank you to our supporters. Today, Dave, I am back on voice memo. You know this. We do promise a move back to the more traditional podcasting format. Although, honestly, Dave, we've received some good feedback on the voice memo format as well. So who knows? The most important thing is getting content out to our fans and our listeners and those people who love basketball in Marin County and beyond. I think you and I can agree on that. A little bit of housekeeping for fans of the podcast. You might have noticed that just recently, if you go in to look at the list of episodes, and we are now on episode 16 of season 2, that you will see there is a little notation right at the end of the season and episode number, and it's going to either be a G or an M. And what that's going to signify, Dave, is the content in that episode is either more Marin-focused, and as you might imagine, that's the M. And these are for the episodes where we really delve deep into nostalgic moments in Marin County basketball. And there might be a lot of names of athletes and coaches and players that are heavily Marin focused. So I'm thinking about episodes with people like Coach Brett Tavani or our initial episode with Coach Mike Fulton. And then there are other episodes where we may stray beyond both the sport of basketball and beyond the confines of Marin County far more than others. And these are now going to be designated, have been designated with the letter G for more global content. So we've had several of these episodes already this season, including with Katie Levine, the former general manager of the Minnesota Twins, and Professor David Hollander, author of the book, How Basketball Can Save the World. And even our first episode of this season with Michael Delosio, who does have Marin roots, but told a story that involves his attempt to become a walk-on player at Indiana University under Bobby Knight, when Bobby Knight was at the height of his basketball power and prestige in the mid-1980s. And that episode was very universal and global, both in its content and its themes and its storytelling. So a little upgrade there to the podcast, Dave. We now have slapped a G or an M on there. And for listeners just discovering the podcast, maybe this helps you choose which one in our archives you go back to listen to next. Okay, Dave. So lots of basketball to talk about. I really want to get your thoughts on, let's see, what are you going to want to talk about? Let me guess. I'm guessing that you are going to want to talk about the Golden State Warriors and their resurgence after the Jimmy Butler trade and how that small ball starting lineup is looking. Moses Moody playing some good defense, knocking down some threes. Quentin Post coming off the bench. And perhaps you're going to tell us when you predict the first major run-in, either on the court, on the bench, or in the locker room between Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Maybe it's not this season, Dave. Maybe it's not this season. We can hope for that. But I'm predicting that it will happen at some point in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months. Or, Dave, maybe you want to talk about March Madness and how Duke is starting to look totally unstoppable and how Stanford maybe can exceed expectations and squeak their way into the NCAA tournament. That would be nice for Kyle Smith and the Cardinal. They definitely have put together a pretty solid season in the ACC. What else? What else, Dave? What else could we possibly talk about? How about the Pac West Conference? This is Division II college basketball. And we heard recently from friend of the podcast, Tim Lacose, and his women's team at Dominican having a very solid season. They're 19-10 overall, 13-5 in the conference. And they are hosting, along with the men's team, the Pac West Conference Championships next week at Dominican, March 6th through the 8th. And so that should be some really good local college basketball to go check out. That, once again, March 6th through the 8th next week. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week, Dave. So maybe that's what you were thinking. I know, I feel like I'm missing something that you were really into and sending me long voice memos about. CYO. CYO. That must have been it. That must have been it, Dave. So CYO season is heating up. We're in the last week before the playoffs start. It's always amazing to me, Dave, how CYO season goes on longer than many teams' high school basketball season. And we're coming up on it now. And we want to just give a little bit. I know you would want me to say this, Dave, that friend of the podcast, Eric Albin, his St. Sebastian 8th grade boys team won a big game this last weekend over the St. Hilary's 8th grade boys team, defending champions and undefeated in years. A very strong CYO team. So big congrats to Eric Albin, Rowan Albin, and the rest of that St. Sebastian's 8th grade boys team on a big win and on a great season. And playoffs are coming up, so they may have a rematch within a couple weeks here. We'll keep you all updated. All right, Dave, I feel like there is one additional topic that you would like to chat at me and our listeners about for a little while. It's slipping my mind because I might be having a little bit of selective amnesia based on recent traumatic basketball events in my sphere. But how about this? Why don't I turn it over to you and you can give us a very comprehensive update about a topic of your choosing. Okay, Dave, how about it?
Hello, Run TMC community. Hello, Duffy. Dave here, providing an update on the NCS and the high school basketball postseason. Notice, Duffy and fans, I did not say a quick update as I usually do, because really, let's be honest, my updates are not quick. They never are. It's been an exciting first week here of the North Coast section playoffs. As expected, we've seen some upsets and we've seen some high seeds succeed and advance, survive and advance, as they say. Obviously, Duffy and others have voiced frustration with the process here. Don't disagree. It's been an imperfect new regime here. Be interesting to see how it all pans out. And then the powers that be will get together and assess how it worked. And if there are any changes that need to be made, I would be shocked if there weren't changes going forward. But competitive equity has good and bad aspects to it. We certainly have seen some teams that had phenomenal years get early exits from the NCS, mainly because they were bumped up to a higher division and had to play a really tough first-round team. Case in point, the Archie Williams boys, Duffy's team, had a phenomenal year, but as a Division III school, they were eligible to move all the way up to Division I, which they did, and they ended up having to have a road game, and they lost to a very good Acalanes team. So we'll get to the updates, but you've seen a number of situations like that, and so competitive equity can be good and bad. I thought to start, I will give an update on the girls bracket, and then I will shift and provide an update on the boys bracket, obviously with a focus on Marin County teams, because that's primarily the interest here. So why don't we just dive right into the girls side? First of all, I'll say on the open division, there were no Marin County teams selected to the open this year, but If you want to watch some good basketball, go watch these open games. They're phenomenal. The 4 remaining teams on the girls' side in the open division, the number 1 seed Acalanes plays number 4 Cardinal Newman on Wednesday evening at Acalanes. And then the 2 seed San Ramon Valley battles number 3 Carondelet at San Ramon Valley. All 4 fantastic teams. Division 1 on the girls' side did have some Marin interest. We had 2 teams represented, the 6 seed Redwood and the 7 seed San Marin. But to start at the top of the bracket, Clayton Valley Charter is the 1 seed. They had a bye. They then advanced to play Northgate, and they beat Northgate handily, so Clayton Valley is in the semifinals. They will battle California, who beat Miramonte in the first round, and then Eureka by 11 in the second round. Eureka, a team that played a number of Marin teams, including my San Domenico squad. Very good team. California is really good, so that Clayton Valley California game will be great. That is Tuesday evening at Clayton Valley High School. On the other side of the bracket, Bishop O'Dowd, number 2 seed. They beat my San Domenico squad handily early in the season. They got by American by 40 in the first round. And unfortunately, Tony Butler's San Marin girls, this is another example of a team that had a great season as a Division III school, got bumped up to Division I, and had a tough first round matchup against a really good Alameda team. Alameda beat them 67-32. Tony mentioned that San Marin just had one of those nights where they just could not find the basket, really had a tough shooting night, and coupled with Alameda's really good. So great year for Tony and San Marin. Congratulations. They bowed out in the first round. Bishop O'Dowd then easily took care of Alameda in the second round by 30. So O'Dowd moves on. On the other side of the bracket, Redwood hosted Freedom. Redwood, a 6 seed. Again, we talked about this last episode. Probably, you could argue too low a seed for Zach Borello's Redwood team. They had a really good year, really tough strength of schedule. I think they were hoping for and expecting a higher seed and kind of home games throughout the bracket. But unfortunately, they got a 6 seed. They did get a home one against Freedom. They beat Freedom by 18. They then were the benefit of an upset on the other side of their bracket. So Arcata, the 3 seed, and Montgomery, the 14 seed, battled. If Arcata had won, then Redwood would have had to go all the way up to almost Oregon, to the north of Eureka, to play Arcata. Montgomery upset Arcata 48-41 in the first round, and so Redwood then had a home game in the second round, and they took care of business, beating Montgomery 63-42. So now on Tuesday night, Redwood goes across the bridge to the East Bay, and they battle Bishop O'Dowd, the number 2 seed. That's going to be a great game. Bishop O'Dowd, really good. JJ Stokes, old 49er receiver, his daughter is a phenomenal guard. Bishop O'Dowd has another post player, Gordon, who's committed to Tulane. So they've got some college talent on that team. That'll be a good matchup for Redwood. And then on the other side, Clayton Valley, California. Division 2, the Marin teams here. Marin Catholic, the 3 seed, beat Mount Diablo 54-45 in the first round. I was actually at that game. KK's squad battled. It was back and forth. It was a tie game late, and then Marin Catholic pulled away in the fourth quarter. A really nice win. They then went on to beat Maria Carrillo in the second round, the 6 seed, 47-41. So Marin Catholic has made it to the semifinals, which is phenomenal. They will battle University. University beat American Canyon in the first round by 2, and they beat Campolindo 48-47 in the second round. So University, 2 close games. University, unfortunately, has some injuries. Some key players have been out, but they've been able to battle and survive in advance, which says a lot about their character, coaching, and just tough players. Olivia Sonen's a phenomenal player for University, a Marin kid, actually. So University and MC will battle at Kezar Pavilion on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I will be at that game. On the other side of the Division II bracket, Justin Siena, really good team. First round bye as the 1 seed. They then beat Pinole Valley 58-36. Pinole Valley had beaten Lick Wilmerding 60-59 in the first round. A really good battle. As I mentioned, my San Domenico team, we played Lick 3 times this year. They were awesome team. And Pinole Valley, really good. Coach BJ Gaither, great guy, good coach. He has a 6'5" big who's really tough. And they were able to squeak by Lick. But Justin Siena was too tough. So Justin Siena beat Pinole 58-36. They move on to the semifinals. They will face Moreau Catholic, who beat Healdsburg in the first round, and McKinleyville in the second round. Moreau, really good. We scrimmaged them at the start of the season. So Justin Siena versus Moreau, University against MC in Division 2. In Division 3, my San Domenico Panthers got by Benicia in the first round in a really good game, 51-47, went down to the wire. We then had to drive 5 hours to Eureka to play St. Bernard's, the 1 seed, and they were just too good for us. They beat us 58-40. It was a tough one for us. We got in some really early foul trouble and just couldn't recover. And we cut it to 10 or 12 late, but St. Bernard's ran away with it. They beat us by 18. Congratulations to them, a great team, and really good coach, really good players, and it was fun to be in that environment. The whole town was there. It was a really fun game, and sad to see my team bow out, but was a great year. On the other side of the bracket, Branson got by Antioch in the first round, 50-38, but then ran into a really good Doherty Valley team in the second round, and Doherty Valley beat them by 9, 44-35. So now Doherty Valley has to drive up to Eureka and play St. Bernard's on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. On the other side of the Division III bracket, St. Mary's had the bye. They beat Monte Vista in the second round, and then Fortuna beat Middletown in the second round. So it's St. Mary's hosting Fortuna on the other side of the Division III bracket. Division IV, Archie Williams beat Santa Rosa in the first round. They then ran into the number 1 seed Encinal at Encinal, and Encinal was too tough. They beat Archie 54-39. So Zach Wally's team saw their season come to an end, but a really great season for them. Some young players. Archie's going to be tough next year. Rancho Cotati defeated Novato. Novato had a nice season, 13 seed in Division IV, but Rancho Cotati was too tough, the 4 seed. They beat him 58-35. Sonoma Valley beat Kennedy 49-36, and then Sonoma Valley then upset Rancho Cotati 46-40. So you have Encinal and Sonoma Valley, and on the other side, Head Royce will face Sonoma Academy in the other semifinal. Going back in the Division IV bracket, Marin Academy had a really great first-round game against Las Lomas. It went into overtime, but they ended up running out of gas, and they lost 37-32. But congratulations to Kelly Thomas and Marin Academy for a fantastic year, and they were right there against a really good Las Lomas team. Las Lomas then fell to Head Royce 41-35. On the other side of the bracket, Tam had to travel all the way up to Hoopa Valley. That's another long drive, and Hoopa beat them 61-49. But Coach Lynette, great year for Tam. Sonoma Academy beat Arroyo, and then Sonoma Academy beat Hoopa Valley 62-60. So Encinal, Sonoma Valley, Head Royce, and Sonoma Academy are left in Division IV. In Division V, I don't believe there were any Marin teams. Nope, no Marin teams. Cloverdale, Fort Bragg, St. Patrick, St. Vincent, and Kennedy are the remaining teams in Division V. And no Marin teams in Division VI, so I'll skip that one. So here we are now into the semifinals, and a reminder, even if you lose the semifinal game this week, you can still play in the third place game and make it into the NorCal. So we're down to 4 teams in each of the brackets, and 3 of the 4 in each case will make it to NorCals. Stay tuned, and I'll give you an update on the outcomes of these games and more next episode. And then we'll hop over to the boys here in one.
Excellent, Dave. I think your anti-quick ethos really paid dividends in terms of the quality and depth of information you just provided us. And we'll get to your boys update here straight away. I did want to pause on just 2 items of acknowledgement. The first is, you mentioned our archery team going out in the first round against a very good Acalanes team. They shot the ball really well. They're long, well coached, and deep. But we were able to stick around. We were within striking distance for virtually the entire game. And in the second half, the reason for that was one of our 3 seniors and our only senior starter, our only regular senior starter. I should mention that Shama Dean, another senior, did start and play valuable minutes in our final game against Acalanes. But Dante Stallone, who has played wonderfully the whole season, played the best half of basketball the season and perhaps of his life. He just shot the ball ridiculously well and made play after play, kept us in the game. He was 6 for 6 from 3 in the second half of that game, Dave. He scored 23 points in the second half, despite being totally overloaded on defense and having to hit shots over a couple guys. His legs got taken out at least once, no call. Anyway, you could see it in his face. You could see the urgency, the recognition that if he didn't get something done now, that was going to be the end of his high school career. Not the end of basketball in his life, of course, but the end of a high school career, which is a big turning point. And so just really want to take a moment, Dave, to commend Dante for that performance and what he put out there for his team. wasn't quite enough, but it wasn't because Dante wasn't giving his best. So way to go, Dante. Great way to end your high school career. And we wish you nothing but the best in the future in basketball and beyond. All right, Dave, you and I will talk more about NCS and seedings and algorithms and injustices as they may be in the future. But for now, the time is running short for me to get this episode out. And so I'm going to send it back to you to cover the rest of the boys' NCS brackets as we move into competition tonight and tomorrow with finals on Friday and Saturday.
Okay, let's update the boys' side. Let's start in the Open. Once again, no Marin teams in the Open, but these are just fantastic teams. So if you're a fan of basketball and you want to go watch a lot of college players play in a high school game, go check out some of these games. Although you could say the same for a lot of the NCS games, regardless of division. But on the Open side, De La Salle is the 1 seed. They got the bye. Dublin, the 4 seed, beat Liberty by 18. So De La Salle now plays Dublin at De La Salle on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Salesian was the 2 seed. They got a bye. San Ramon Valley beat California 77-49. So Salesian plays San Ramon Valley at Albany High School on Wednesday night. So that's the Open. Let's go to Division 1. The Marin flavor here, our friends at Redwood, the 2 seed, got by Montgomery in the first round, 51-31. Then had a nail-biter against a fantastic Acalanes team. And TT Carr just took over the game. I think he had 41 points, including 21 in the fourth quarter. And Redwood was down 9 kind of late third quarter and then won the game by 10, 62-52. So Redwood has made it to the semifinals. They're going to face Amador Valley. I will say, going back to Acalanes, Archie Williams, the 10 seed in Division 1, tough draw for Russ Bauer and Duffy's team. They had to travel to Acalanes, and Acalanes just shot the lights out and beat Archie 78-68 in the first round. Archie had an outstanding year, tons of talent, and sad to see them not able to progress further in NCS, but congratulations on a great year for Archie. Elsewhere in the Division 1 bracket, the 3 seed Campolindo fell to 14 seed Northgate in the first round. Amador Valley beat Bishop O'Dowd. Amador Valley then beat Northgate, and so that's how Redwood will host Amador Valley in one semifinal. The other semifinal in Division 1, the number 1 seed Doherty Valley, who really was a candidate to be in the Open, will face Clayton Valley Charter, the 4 seed, at Doherty Valley on Tuesday night. And so the winner of that will play the winner of Redwood and Amador Valley, and the losers will play in the third place game for an at-large berth into the NorCals. Moving on to Division 2. So some Marin interest here for sure, but I'll just start at the top of the bracket. Number 1 seed Moreau Catholic took care of Head Royce. The 16 seed, they won that game by 40. Moreau then took care of Urban in the second round by 27. Moreau Catholic is very tough. Urban, the 8 seed, beat Maria Carrillo, the 9 seed, 53-40, but then fell to Moreau. And then University Terra Linda was a great first round game at Kezar. Terra Linda fought hard against a really good University team and point guard Lucas Lau, but TL fell 76-68. University was just too tough. University then beat Los Lomas in the second round, so the semifinal was Moreau Catholic hosting University on Wednesday night. On the other side of the bracket, Cardinal Newman beat Benicia in the first round. Lick Wilmerding, Coach Elliott Smith, longtime coach, a great guy. They beat Rancho Cotati, but then Cardinal Newman took care of Lick, beat him by 25. And Cardinal Newman has made it to the semifinals, and they will face Marin Catholic. Marin Catholic beat McKinleyville. Another long drive for a Marin team. They went all the way up to far Northern California. MC was down most of that game. They stormed back, hit some huge shots down the stretch, and stole a win at McKinleyville 61-58. Heritage beat St. Mary's 48-43. And then a couple nights ago, Marin Catholic beat Heritage 71-60 at home. So Marin Catholic now goes on the road to Cardinal Newman on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, a very tough matchup for them. But Coach Saya always seems to find ways to win games late. Marin Catholic's not a team I'd want to face in the postseason. So should be a great matchup. So Moreau Catholic University, Cardinal Newman, and Marin Catholic are the remaining teams in D2. Division 3 has a lot of Marin intrigue. The number 1 seed Branson took care of Freedom 64-42. They then beat Livermore in the second round 60-52. Livermore had beaten San Marin in the first round by 10. So Coach Lav, nice season with San Marin. Sorry to see them go. A tough draw for them. The 9 seed had to go on the road to Livermore, but they fought hard, lost by 10. Branson then, as I said, beat Livermore. So now Branson's in the semifinal. And their foe in the semifinal will be the Santa Fe Bulldogs. Santa Fe beat Piner in the first round by 15. They then beat Mount Eden by 10 in the second round. And so Branson and Santa Fe at College of Marin on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. The other side of the bracket, San Domenico, my friend Tyler Gaffney, they beat Castro Valley in the first round by 17. They then beat College Park in a close game. They beat them by 5 on Friday night, 63-58. So San Domenico has made it to the semifinals. They will host Berkeley. Berkeley beat Eureka 71-43 and then upset the 3 seed St. Joseph Notre Dame 74-55. So San Domenico and Berkeley at San Domenico, Branson and Santa Fe at College of Marin. So 3 of the 4 teams in the D3 semifinals are Marin County teams. And a reminder that the winners play, the losers play, and so 3 of those 4 teams will make it to NorCals. No Marin teams are in Division 4, 5, or 6 for the boys' side, so I will skip those, but some good games for sure. And you can check Max Preps, Marin IJ for updates. But good luck to the remaining teams. So we still have some Marin schools that are alive on both the boys and girls side. And we wish you guys the best of luck. And to the teams like mine and Duffy's and many others who've seen their seasons come to an end, a really sad, kind of surreal time. I did the math. We, I think, had something like, at our San Domenico team, I think we had 60-something practices since November. We played, obviously, 26 scheduled games. We had a couple playoff games. My team had 3. So that was 29 contests, but then we also had some preseason scrimmages. So call it 30 to 31, competitive events, 60-something practices, many hours of viewing video and van rides with the team. You put a lot into this, and it's sad to see it end. But Paul Trevor, one of my favorite guests that we've had on, talked about his non-negotiables as a team, and the first one was gratitude. And this time of year, I'm reminded of how grateful I am to be involved in high school athletics and to be a coach and to be a dad of a high school player and a youth player. And I'm just really grateful to have this community, to play basketball, to coach basketball, to be around Marin. And congratulations to everybody on teams who competed in the MCAL or the Bay Counties League, whatever league you were in this year. I love watching all you kids play. And players are made in the off season. Teams are made in the season. So the off season starts now. So I encourage you guys to play other sports. Obviously, it's being a multi-sport athlete. There's a tons of value in that, as our friend Kaylee Starrett said. But work on your game, play some club hoops or play pickup. Keep working, and we're excited to see you play next year. So to the teams and players who are still alive, good luck. Hope to see as many of you as possible representing your schools in the NorCal and in the States, and everybody else, time to get to work in the offseason. Thanks, everybody.
Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey, dude.